Hi Flutes! This is a video practice guide on the band piece El Cumbanchero. It's got a great flute soli about midway through. I play in a professional band and we play this piece pretty often, and we lovingly refer to it as El Cucumber song. Okay, I'm just gonna play it down and then I will go back and go through any advice, tips, ways to practice it, etc. Okay, it's pretty tricky. It's very tricky, actually. So first thing is you have these flutter tonguing sections. So you do need to know how to flutter tongue. I always flutter tongue with my throat, only because I cannot roll my R's. But I have found flutter tonguing with my throat, basically just sort of gargling like, ugh, I have a lot more control. So I recommend that. But one thing with the flutter tonguing situation is sometimes if you're coming out of a slur, like the second measure after H here, going into the B natural flutter tongue, feel free to just like slur right into that flutter tongue if it's easier. Like you don't have to re-articulate. You don't have to go, re-tongue right there, because that's hard. You can just go, if that's easier. The other thing to keep in mind when you're practicing this is the articulation, like 5 after H or so, is very much the phrasing. So you need to do it exactly as it is. Do all that because that is the phrasing. Also, like down here, this measure, ya-dum-da-dum-ba-dum. Don't get too caught up in making the differentiating staccato, the line and the accent. It's just ya-dum-da-dum-ba-dum. So just do the phrasing and it'll all work out. I mean, it's in slow motion. But it goes so fast, you don't have time to really, I don't think. Plus it's in the low register-ish for the flute to be a feature, and you're trying to play as loud as you can. Anyway, don't get too caught up in the dot line accent. Just do ya-da-da-dum-da-dum. Here, after the C-sharp flutter tongue, yaga-da-da-da-da-da-da. I had to really drill a little bit to make sure my fingers were even on the F, G, A going up. So I would practice it like double tonguing it or tonguing it on the way up, just to make sure it's all exact. Ya-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, E. When you get to the E, take your pinky off. First of all, that helps for the E not to crack. The intonation is going to be better too. It won't be sharp. When I'm on that E, and you could take or leave this, but when I hit the E, I usually don't do vibrato for a little bit. E, ya, da, 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 da. Just sounds a little bit more stylistic with the samba style. If you do yaga da 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 da, you sound like a classical player trying to play like a samba. What is important is when you're coming off of that high E, da da, when you're doing da da da, you have to relax. Make sure you relax your embouchure a little bit, or your airspeed, I should say, so that the ya da 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 does not crack or have a glitch. You could, I don't do this, but you do have an option to do, like you could do some alternate fingerings if this part is not happening for you, because it's tricky with the cross fingerings. You're on high E, and then you could do A flat for the E flat, G, middle G for the D, B flat with your thumb on over there for the F, and then your regular D, high D, D flat C. So in slow motion, well, I guess you could go back to G for that second D. So that's an option, but I always just do regular fingering. And then the next one, same thing. Yeah, da 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 da. These, you just have to have flexible embouchure and make sure you're not too gripped on, or you're not gonna be able to go up those intervals in the drop down. And then you're going up chromatic, or you're going up with flutter tonguing. Definitely a big accent. It'll help give the solo some structure and some character. Like that. That G trill is awful because you have to do this pinky. To kind of help mask that, I always do a little break like not a breath exactly, but just a little break before the next accent. It just helps mask, I think, the fact that I can't really get my pinky to go very fast. You know, something like that. And then here, accent again. And again, I would practice this, making sure it's all very even. Try to avoid the high G, you know, that just like goes to another universe. Just keep it, you know, G, not G and a half. With that, I think to make sure you have a lot of density in your tone, just a lot of thickness to the sound will help bring it down in pitch. If you turn your tuner on, you'll see the G tends to go all the way off the charts sharp. Just don't spread the sound, maybe is another way to say it. G right there. And then this, I take the pinky off again, E, G, E, because so I don't risk that E splitting on me. So, and then when you get to the E dotted half here, I have my pinky off, and even though I'm probably in tune with it when I get there, because my G was probably, even though I'm trying to bring it down, my G is probably on the high side. You need to match the G to the E in relative intonation proportion. So in other words, I try to raise my E a little bit. Okay, and then I love the A flat. You can just really bring that out as the interesting note. This next measure, make sure you have your thumb on the B flat side. Right here, this measure, the fingering I do is I play high F like regular, F, and then I do middle G for the D, middle A for the E, and a B flat with my thumb on over here for the high F. It's a million times easier. Da 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 instead of all the cross fingerings. So da 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 da. And when you get to that A, go right away sooner than you may think, sliding up to the C, the little da da da. When I do the blah, da, my thumb does slide off so I can get a little B natural on the chromatic slide up to the C. Da 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 A, and on my way I do the lever, B flat, B natural, C. I wouldn't worry about it too much. You just need a little effect. Da blah da, just some kind of little slide. And then the last line here, again, the key is keeping your embouchure flexible. Make sure you have a grip on the airstream, you know, for tone, but also make sure that you're able to drop those big intervals. And lastly, how I would practice this is you can just not do the flutter tonguing if that's messing you up, just to get started. But of course, anytime you practice something, always go slow. So, oops, let me see. So this goes at about 140 or so. But just to practice, you know, you can go as slow as you need. Let's just say 88, because that's where my metronome landed. And the main thing is that it's very even and clean. And then if you get that evenness and cleanness, once it's faster, you can feel, you can take more freedoms, but it has to foundationally be solid. Okay, so anyway, this is what I would do, like 88. Etc. You just very accurate. 88. And what I do in my practicing, I find a speed like that where I can do it pretty much perfectly. And then I will do it 89, go up in ones. Okay, have fun practicing this very fun band piece that has this awesome flute feature. Let me know if you have any questions or comments regarding what I went over, or any clarifications that you want me to go over. Put that in the comments. I will for sure respond to you and get back to you with any helpful advice I might have. Also, please hit subscribe. I have an ongoing practice guide for flute and piccolo, band and orchestra. pieces and excerpts. And if anyone has a suggestion on a piece you would like me to cover, put that down in the comments as well. I'm more than happy to take suggestions and do a practice guide on something that you're currently working on. Okay, I think that covers it. Thanks for watching and happy practicing.